All right. Well, let's see. Yesterday was a pretty darn good day. Full day of work. I got a lot done. I slept so-so. I was up maybe an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours before the alarm and just tossing and turning. But it was kind of a resigned insomnia. I don't know if you call that insomnia. Is insomnia when you can't get to sleep? Is it still insomnia when you're waking up early and can't go back to sleep? Maybe. Whatever that is. Um, I wasn't worried. I was, I wasn't looking forward to the day. I'm so done with work. I really want to retire. Although I know that that'll have its challenges too. Um, in the evening, Yumiko and I spent a good deal of time um, looking at homes in Japan, namely in the Tami area, around Izu, around the base of Izu Peninsula. She found some good ones, and I think she sent me some more even after I went to sleep. So I'll have to look those up when I get a chance later today, lunchtime maybe. Yesterday was an interesting day at work. I had a productive day, but I diluted the day through my 3 projects, 4 now, because I've kind of got I was volunteered, so to speak, for a 4th project, which I don't mind doing. So that kind of diluted my day. As a result, I didn't get to the nitty-gritty the way I would like. And the big meeting that I thought I had yesterday was postponed for today. So I'm a little on edge for that, anxious about that. So I did create a page on my website, goingalone.org. It's if you go to About, and then just below that it's Return to Japan, I think it is, something like that. Anyway, I'm documenting. I've decided to document basically what this constitutes for Yumiko and I, our 5th Great Life adventure together. The 5th time that she and I have embarked on a whole new life together. We're pretty well practiced at this. And this time it's going back to Japan to initially to semi-retire and then to fully retire. So I'm documenting that process, and it's fun. And I created a section last night utilizing some of the information we have about some of the houses we're finding and the resources that we found. Basically documenting and creating links to interesting properties. I'd like to create a map too, and update that map and populate that map with marks indicating where various houses are. I think I can do that. So anyway, that's where I am. Let's do the Good Life meditation. Oh, I forgot to mention, hi, I'm Kurt. This is my daily Good Life meditation video. I do this every day to remember my life objectives and principles and to see how I'm doing applying these to my everyday, namely yesterday, and to plan for today. So I think I covered all of yesterday. Let's now do the Good Life. I have 7 objectives, and these are as follows. Number 1 is to be always ready to die. Number 2 is to make good and effective use of my time. Number 3 is to develop and maintain a set of good and solid life principles and objectives. Next is to cultivate good emotional reactions, so I'm reacting well to the events that happen in my life. Next is to perform good actions, to do good things, where good things are defined as relative to a virtuous life, where virtue is defined as the seeking after the improvement of the well-being, particularly of thinking creatures. And then number 6 is to recognize my true limits and my true opportunities so that I'm making reasonable and good use of my time. And then 7, lastly, is to do only one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and carefully and deliberately, to never multitask. So those are my objectives. If I can fulfill those things, then I will be living what I call a good life, the good life, a good life. That's why I call this the Good Life Creed. Certainly not a novel title for a worldview, one I've well borrowed from the Stoics. Okay, now I have 30 principles that I use to guide me towards these objectives. And these are as follows. Number one is the principle of war, to constantly be waging an aggressive war against any proposition of truth, particularly those ideas that I already hold as true, so that I can disabuse myself of any falsity. Falsehood, that is. Number two is the principle of reason and the sub-principles of honesty, objectivity, and doubt. And reason in these approaches are the way that I can, it's my epistemology, it's the way that I look at the world to be honest with myself and objective in my survey, and always a fierce skeptic, questioning deeply. That's the approach to life that I want to have, to make sure that I'm, doing my due diligence in assessing what seems to be, or what is proposed to be true. Number three is the homunculus, the suggestion that there is no soul, but we do have a consciousness. Each of us has our consciousness. And the next principle, called the Anchorhold, suggests that consciousness is trapped within our skulls, within our bodies, and will not escape our death. We'll go down with the ship. There's more to the Anchorhold than that. There's also the idea that we're kind of trapped in a way with who we are, and the world rises and recedes in terms of its what it does to us. Think of it like an ocean, and we're sitting on a rock sticking out of an ocean, and the tide rises and falls, and the water's dangerous and cold and deep, full of dangerous things, mainly just the cold and the depth. And it splashes us, and the waves come, and it's scary, and the rocks are slippery. At times like that, during high tide, life is pretty scary. And then other times, the waters recede, and they give us a little respite, and we feel a little more confident and happy, with a little relief from the sea. That's us, sitting on our rock, our Anchorhold, so to speak, where we suffer and live and enjoy life. Next is the home of good and evil, the mere suggestion that good and evil do not exist outside of our minds. They're just ideas, just opinions that we hold. Subject to change, certainly quite subject to reason, and vulnerable to our emotions and our bias and our weakness. Next is the principle of purpose, which has three sub-principles: biology, virtue, and mission. Biology refers to the purpose of reproduction, of having children, raising them to adulthood, and getting the hell out of the way. The second one is virtue, which I refer to as living a life that is a virtuous life, where again, virtue is the activity of pursuing the well-being of others, and particularly thinking creatures, and ourselves too. And then the last purpose is my own. That is the purpose of mission. You have a mission too, maybe. And whatever your mission is. My mission is to share this good life creed. This is why I make this video every day. And I've done so through my writing, particularly my book, Going Alone. Next is the atomic principle. Everything is made of little bits and pieces, and those bits and pieces tend to fall to pieces. Then the principle of nature. Everything has, and everyone has, some particular nature, some character, some inertia, and some momentum where they're headed, or where they've been going, or where they are going. It's good to recognize what that is, so we can, if not accept it, at least expect or abide the nature of the real nature of the world. And then maturity is the next principle, and the sub-principles of wisdom and fortitude. We are mature when we wisely remember our past past failures and successes and strive to do better. Then comes the pirate ride, or I think I skipped that one. The suggestion of free will, no free will. That free will is just a convincing, very convincing illusion that we are, in fact, nothing more of, a little more than decision engines, where the decisions that we make are the result of the input of the universe around us, which has a lot to say. And in the end, we're really reacting to everything going on around us before us, leading to this moment. Left or right, up or down, yes or no. It's the pointy end of a very, very long spear that extends back beyond our lives into the universe beyond. Okay, then I did maturity, and then the social principle. We're social animals. We need each other. It's best to not go alone, even though I wrote a book called Going Alone. It's better to come back. It's good to go alone, but to discover what's not out there. But it's good to come back afterwards. You easily get lost out there. Next comes public speaking. The suggestion that we human beings need one another, and it's best for us to come back from the alone, to create a family and a community, and to be a part of that. And then public speaking, the idea that of being very careful with our communications, using very deliberate words, carefully chosen words, not highfalutin, and then to use careful language in our speaking and our writing, and to never, ever, ever gossip. Oh, I was so tempted to gossip yesterday. I really wanted to do it. I had a great opportunity, and I didn't. I consciously just held the reins back. I said, "Whoa, Nellie, you're not going to do that, Kurt. Don't bring it up. Don't you say that." And I didn't. Good job, if I do say so myself. Next comes temperance, the recommendation to consume less, or really it's more like control our consumption. Less food, less drink, less work, less play, less everything. I think I'm doing pretty good on that one, especially with regard to eating. I'm definitely controlling my consumption. Then I'm losing weight, especially now that we have that this intermittent fasting diet. Then comes the horror show, the recognition that life is a scary place with scary things happening and horrible things happening, in fact, to many all around us. Not just to humans, but to our pets and wildlife and life. Is a horror show. And if the horror isn't with us now, it's coming. Oh boy, ain't it coming. The next principle is called that which must be borne, carried, bear, what we have to bear in life. And what we have to carry and bear is the fact of the horror show and whatever responsibilities we on board to fulfill our purpose and to live a virtuous life. And then comes distraction. We spend our lives distracting ourselves. Wait, is that right? Yeah. No, the Feast of Offal. Feast of Offal is what we do when we get upset and we decide to let the world know about it, and we spew it out to the world. Think of road rage, for example. It doesn't do anybody good, and it hurts us and hurts others, and it's a poor way to express our emotions. So I try not to do that kind of thing. Not just road rage, you get it, but like the type of upset that a family man might show his family when he's had a bad day. He holds bottles it into the office and then comes home and explodes in front of the family over dinner. Maybe dinner's not cooked just right, and everybody gets to experience his upset. Women can do this too, of course. I'm just choosing this model, this example, this stereotypical model in this example. It's a way of a release, right? It's not a good thing to do. It hurts others. It hurts it hurts ourselves. It's bad rule. It's a bad model, and it does it does little more than like a steam escape valve. Pity, you have to pity anybody who's in the way of the steam. There's better ways to deal with such things, mainly through deliberate living and temperate expression of our emotions and channeling things and striving to be more mature. So I try not to do that. I try not to engage in the feast, nor when other people are performing the feast, when they're dishing it out, I try to avoid consuming it because it's an awful meal. It just soils us and then makes us more vulnerable to do the same. Excuse me. Then comes distraction. We spend our lives distracting ourselves with our work and our play, our hobbies, TV, radio, religion, gossip, so that we don't have to see that the universe is a big empty place, devoid of seemingly any guiding agency. The fact that we don't want to see the fact that it seems like we're all alone here, and that there's nothing to follow, no afterlife. Next comes, and that's called the great indifference. That's the next principle. So it's distraction and then agency and the great indifference. Next comes the best seat in the house, to be all right with who I am, where I am, and what I'm doing. And then the path of wildness, which is something that we do to break free from one paradigm and cross the chasm to start a new life. It's the thing that Yumiko and I are about to do. We're about to embark on our great life adventure. Maybe I'll write about that in the blog today. About to head off into our new great life adventure. Next comes the risk of the risk of avoiding risk. There are two levels of risks in life, basically. There are probably others, but there's the surface level stuff and the deep risks. The surface level risks are things like education, career, family, home, and security. The deep risk is finding oneself, as the cliche goes. It's hard to do both. It's hard to have the settled life, the secure life, and find yourself. Some people pull it off. Most of us, when we pursue one or the other, most of us will pursue one or the other at the expense of the other. If we pursue the settled life, we tend to miss out on finding ourselves to some degree. If we pursue finding ourselves, we compromise some of the settled life. Biko, thinking of him from the TV show Going Alone, which I'm watching that series. Biko and basically everybody on Going Alone, for the most part, represents that model. They're the ones that have gone for the adventure, and may have a less than perfect establishment of the settled life. Not always. Some of them seem to balance it quite well. Interesting. I'm trying to straddle the two myself as well, struggling. Okay, so that would be the risk of avoiding risk. Now comes sin and damnation. There are 7 sins in my worldview related to being untrue, believing things that are untrue, and gossiping. And these are falsity, credulity, faith, superstition, dogma, authority, and gossip. Engaging in any of those things is a sin. It's a sin to be false. It's a sin to believe wrong things. And it's a sin to talk about other people behind their backs. Nothing good can come of any of those things. So, and the consequence can be damnation in the here and now. Because I don't think there's any afterlife to have any damnation in after that, after we're gone. Next comes complete oblivion. The suggestion that if we don't have a soul and we just have a consciousness, then it appears that consciousness goes away forever when we die. So there will be no afterlife, no chance to reconcile with the ones that we love, to have a reunion with them, or to witness justice served. The only chance for any of that is in the here and now, or during life. Next is the Great Life Adventure, which is one or more experiences that we can have that fulfills, or at least it attempts to fulfill, that curious need for self-discovery. Yumiko and I, like I said before, are about to embark on our 5th Great Life adventure together. She's been a good partner in that. Helped me to helped us to address together. We've helped one another to address the adventurous life and the secure life to the best of our ability. Next comes the season of philosophy, which is a time to record what we've learned along the way. And then the bullseye aim, a reminder that when we strive to hit the mark, we usually miss. And then the uphill climb, a reminder to continue to trudge up, 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 not to settle back on the sofa and watch TV all day, but to actually keep moving forward with life. And then arena and utility. Life is an arena for the development of our objectives and principles, which we can use to help achieve these. And then nothing is enough. A reminder that not just temperance, but dare I say almost abstinence is it, what is it? It's a good path. That's what it is. Good direction. And then finally, the principle of fun, a reminder to have a good time, to enjoy the moments of now, also the anticipation of the moments to come, and remembrance of times past. All right, that's my Good Life Creed for today. Next, let's talk about the day to come. I think I only have like 2 meetings today. One of them is an important one. So I'm going to buckle under and get through on my main project, get through the action. We'll see how it goes, how that meeting goes. And then I'll buckle under and tuck in for the open items on my project. It's going to be a good day of work. And then in the lunchtime, Yumiko and I will take the dogs to the dog park. After work, we'll enjoy looking at some houses on YouTube and talking about our future together as we begin to embark on our new Great Life adventure. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me. Be safe, but not too safe.